OG are going to be sniping up the Tiny.
Yeah, and this has been a hot pick for a lot of these European teams. Oh, you're on camera. You can't.
Oh, I didn't know that I am like totally in control.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, that's the chat by the way. All right, I told you I'm a rusty.
Chat. Yeah.
I haven't been here in a while, so I gotta keep my thing on Dota at all times.
Yes.
Sorry, chat. We'll not be fiending. We'll not be looking up stats.
We don't have game capture here.
I'm really good when I look at side porn, but not today. All right.
You need to bring out the phone for your Twitch chat. Fog was calling me out because I had my iPad next to the screen, like, so I could read Twitch chat while I'm casting and stuff. Like, oh, I gotta
it's
get
legit. You gotta see in case we mess up or we put them in Dota jail, quote, too long and leave the overlays on. That's why we got rolling though. So.
Yep. So, I mean, the IO yesterday was a big pick. Virtus Pro banned it out every game, but the problem was they were banning out IO, which meant Doom. Both games OG beat Virtus Pro, and there was Doom picked up. I mean, Fog was like, I don't want to like question this too much. Like, FNG knows what he's doing, but giving away Doom is not something you generally want to do, even with the nerfs to the hero. So, Doom going to be probably banned out for most of this series unless teams really start to fear the Wisp. I think is a big pick. The Darks are another big one, but for now, OG respond with an SF Tiny and. They lock up two of their core heroes here, like not just like any core heroes, your mid as well as your safe lane farmer. There's not really much flexibility with how these two are going to be run here. It's going to be just be a SF in mid lane for Miracle, Notel playing a safe lane farming Tiny, and that pretty much kind of reveals like the core of the OG strategy in a lot of ways.
Sad to see CK go. I feel like that guy just does not get enough love, and he is an ass beater, and I can appreciate that. But obviously something that we know Era to pull out from time to time and make some sick plays with, so not really surprised to see him go. I guess one of the remaining options for this Wisp as a pairing that I know NiP have run is maybe like a Bristleback or something. Could work nice with a Tiny, cutting him about, reducing the armor, which he's already pretty low with until he gets that AC. And of course, we do like the ban of the Winter Wyvern, because Winter Wyvern is very good against the Wisp, after all.
Yeah. So,
and Sven's got to go. A lot of man heroes out of here. If you got testosterone, you can't play.
We'll see what else. Maybe you go for the other direction. Take a PA or something. Forget you don't need testosterone. You just need something that can be beefed up by the IO and, well, become like a scary little carry in the front lines.
That would be a nice change. I would welcome a PA. I don't think we get to see enough PA love. What was the last time? I think Envy pulled it out for one of the games over at Nanyang, and I think they got the win, but it was... Her appearances have been few and far between, I'd have to say. And look at this, a Lich grab, which means OG want to win a lane.
Yep.
That's for sure.
And it's something which they often like run on Fly in the offlane. He plays just Lich incredibly well. I mean, Lich is not particularly...
they run him in the offlane?
Well, no, as in like an offlane support.
Oh, okay,
yeah, sorry. Okay. They'll run him as an offlane support, but I say offlane because Moon often like plays as offlane, like a 3-position hero who can rotate to the jungle, and Fly just kind of ends up solo in the top lane, getting like a lot of XP, and they're kind of playing a more greedy style where Lich is denying experience farm from the carry. Moon's then kind of jungling it up a bit unless he can really contest the lane, but as far as jungling offlaners go, like the Darkseer as well as the Doom both taken or banned out. Batrider? Yeah?
That would be awesome.
I like the idea of a Batrider.
Gyrocopter, of course. Yeah. How could we forget Gyrocopter as a common partner with the Wisp here? For a while there, it felt like a lot of people are like over Gyrocopter, I'd say going into Nanyang. They felt like his late game kind of just fell off too much, but he was all at the tournament from what I saw, especially like the hands of Envy, who loves to just fight to the end. Like he'll take anyone down with him, and he's happy to kind of throw his life away for it if it's for the greater good of the team. He will not show mercy, but yeah. Do you want to switch over to... All right, I'm gonna get rid of these notifications here. Again, I'm just gonna close out this actually. Here we go. I don't need to see Skype. There we go. Sorry, everyone. Again, I'm not used to having to be on point over here and that you guys can see absolutely everything I do. So it's Dota from here on out. No more little...
Nothing questionable on any internet browser tabs.
I already closed all the... on.
Yeah,
we're good to go.
Steam.
Oh, that's another one here. Let me switch over. Anything else, guys? Let's just go down the checklist while we're at it here.
Got your Dota TV audio.
Fine. Okay. I think we're good now. I think we're good. Map hacks off.
I like the Gyrocopter because you see the Lich going for like a pure physical damage carry is sometimes going to suffer against the ice armor, so they get some good magic damage to go with late game DPS with Gyro. Despite though, I mean, you meant I think Secret were successful with the hero at Nanyang, but that's Secret. I feel the teams who've been playing it when it's like come to these more even matchups. Yesterday Gyro lost every game except the last game of the day. So
really?
It was picked in I think 2 or 3 games by Empire, lost all of them. Was picked in 2 or 3 of the games in the VP versus OG series. It did win game 3, but it was again, a hero
Did
that
they
just
have
felt kind of
a
weak.
team like this? I mean, so far, I would say this is a great gyrocopter team game. Like, vacuum into call down. You got your Wisp partner to get him in or get him out of the fray and sustain him and allow him to farm. And now you got your frontline bruiser here. I imagine if gyrocopter is to not do good in this game, unless OG have found a way to directly counter the poor guy, this should be a better showing for him, just based on the composition around him, I'd have to say. But look at this response, a classic from OG and OG only usually, the crit Jakiro here.
This is a pesky one. They prioritizes going for the annoying dual breath plus liquid fire build, often sometimes skipping ice path altogether, and gives them some perhaps needed pushing power in the early to mid game until Tiny gets a lot of farm the Yag Scepter up. He doesn't really have that sieging capability, so they can pressure towers much earlier, which is something they likely want to be able to do with NiP going to be looking to team fight around the Darkseer plus Gyrocopter.
Yeah, I can't really fault them on it. They're all pretty big. Kind of got to get in there a bit. But overall, they just got to round it out with secondary good support.
I wonder if this is even a Moon Meander Jakiro, because if it's going to be, they need a safe lane support to go with the Tiny, and you kind of want to Lich Jakiro lane, I feel is the strongest way to set this up.
Maybe like a mech candidate if their Shadow Fiend's not going for it.
Yeah.
Someone, because it feels like they're going to be coming together here mid-game. And beat some ass. So they have to have someone to kind of add some extra sustain, I'd have to say. I mean, I'd love to just throw out the casual Moon Meander Nature's Prophet, but this doesn't seem like that kind of game where you're going to want to split push when really you're going to want to be in the fight here. So prominent offlane options that are still available to fill this role, or not. They are going to switch it up or something. I don't know what the hell's happening. The Krophos comes out. Is this figure out where this old man's going?
I'm wondering if this is like a Lich Tiny offlane and even a utility Tiny. Moon normally plays the more initiator type heroes for the team, so he's been playing some offlane Sven. He's been playing these Blink stun initiators, and that's where, I mean, I guess Tiny may fit into this draft. It may not be like a carry Tiny in any sense.
That would be an OG thing to do, put Tiny in the offlane.
Yeah, it would be. Necrophos is normally like a no-tail hero, or I think Miracle's played it as well, but that's normally not something you'd expect it. It can pair up with the Lich in the offlane, but to me, that's just like a odd decision when you'd rather get the safe farm on a Necrophos, since he is a very farm-dependent hero.
All right, what are we getting here for NiP then in their mid lane now to help combat against this series? And it's sustain, so they got the sustain department confirmed for OG. So this is a let's get together and let's take the game over kind of a thing. How do you prevent that? You need creep creep clear, defense, stop it, don't come any closer kind of a hero, but plays a solid mid-game core.
I think you just pick Lena, to be honest. It's still decent. It gives you some counter push. It gives you some burst damage to kill whichever frontline core you can catch out. You need, if it's an SF on the front lines or a Necro, they're both tanky, so you need big burst damage.
I'm worried once they get in the face of Lena, what she's going to do to get out.
That's a problem. If Tiny blinks on you, you're done for. If Jakiro gets like a Yule Scepter, you're in trouble. It's a very fragile hero, but I feel they just need some more pizzazz with this draft.
And needs to be able to go toe-to-toe with a Shadow Fiend. This is not easy now. This is not easy for NiP. They're trying to, they love to play the draft game OG does, it looks like, against NiP, where they're just like, we're going to change things up, and we know that we could cripple you right from the start of the match, even before we even get to playing, and you buy that first little mango.
Well, they've got no counter push right now is the thing, and that's where Wind Ranger was a good band. It's a mid that can match up well against SF, has some deep push, and Lena probably the next closest thing. I just can't see any other great mids that will give you the counter push you need to clear out creep waves.
I think NiP should just have some fun with this one or something. Give OG a taste of their own medicine and pull out something a bit different. No, they're not. They're going to do what you said. Vanilla bean ice cream it is, Lena. No, it's good. Like
I think any other hero and they just straight up lose.
Yeah.
I think they've still got a weaker draft than OG, but this was the best possible last pick for them.
You get your wave clear, you get your insta burst when you got a Tiny running at you. Like I said before, though, if she gets caught, jumped on by Tiny, she ain't surviving a huge combo and a big whopping right there. And just another prize target for this, what looks like Necrophos no-tail, to execute and delete from the game. And once she's out, you're left with, what? Hopefully Darkseer with his ultimate ready to go still and a gyrocopter. I don't know, gotta say, slight nod towards OG on this draft, though, you know what? It's a bit different to pull out the offlane Tiny. Maybe NiP can punish him in the laning stage? for his shortcomings. The reason why we don't see him in the offlane very often, maybe?
Yeah, it's going to come down to like how the Lich Tiny can work together, and if NiP have access to their pull camp, if they can kind of prevent the Lich deny. Well, Lich is always going to deny a lot of experience in farm, but you need to do it right back and protect your pull camp as much as possible.
Loading up commands here, rolling. There we go. All right, we are underway here. Let's get the party started. A best of 3 here in the Summit 4. We're in the lower bracket semifinal now. It's Team OG going against NiP. The winner moves on to face Empire in the final round of the lower bracket. The winner of that matchup, they're going to be coming out to LA and partying it up in the new Summit House. And if you have not been watching the Smash Summit, which started yesterday, you can get a glimpse at the newer event space, and it is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That event looks great. The kids are having a fantastic time.
They're not kids. This game's been around for 15 years. They're like they're probably all in their 30s or something. I've seen a few of them. They do not look like youngins.
I mean, I guess maybe I'm being like, the way they love the game, it makes you feel like a kid again.
They act.
Some Dota players here, a bit jaded, not gonna lie. These kids love to play Smash, and you could see it. They're eager to get back in there. They're excited to scrim and play their friendlies. I admire that, and I hope that maybe, just maybe, some of these Dota 2 players can be inspired by that, and, you know, have some fun at the Summit. We'll see. I'd have fun with either of these teams, so I'm hoping for the best here. Unbiased commentator here.
I want to see NiP, because Era, he promised if he ever made it to a Summit would do the perfect Cyclops impression, so I want to see NiP just for the Cyclops impression. I mean, with that said, like, NoTail has been to every Summit so far. I was going through the list of players who've made it to every Summit, and NoTail...
He should get an award or something for that.
There's, so far, 11 players who've been to the first 3 Summits. 8 of those 11 are already qualified or invited to the Summit 4, and then NoTail's one of the ones who can still make it.
All right. We'll give him something, maybe like a candy, if he's able to make it out here. We'll see, though. And Fly is going to be starting out early in this mid lane to even further emphasize the punishment they want to do here. They're going to lay down a quick and eat. Oh, man, Limp just sees the sentry and eats it right up. Not going to get that bit of advantage, and already Fly's like, you know what? Enough of this. I'm going to head up and over and just kind of hang out in the by shadows here, just in case something's to break down.
Yeah. So we'll be an aggro tri-lane out of the ninjas in pajamas, looking to avoid that pesky dual lane and just send Jonas up against the dual lane up top.
Which I think he's okay with here. He's kind of poking the dragon quite a bit.
This is good. They want to pressure the Necrophos, who's a bit of a kind of fragile here in the laning stage, and they know Darkseer is going to get what he needs out of this safe lane. He's going to get decent amount of farm as well as more than enough experience. It's just the trade-off of giving Moon farm himself and whether a tiny blink dagger will cause you problems.
I imagine for OG here, they should have a pretty damn comfortable time in this mid lane as well as the top here. It looks like already we're going to have a bit of an audible call. Seal Kid has joined the party up top. It looks like they're not going to find too many opportunities bullying the old man on bottom, and they would rather equalize these lanes a bit more, not allow Crit and company to have too much potential here.
And they've already pulled the lane back, so it's really hard for Necro to get... He can't come into last hit. He's going to die. The gyrocopter will just run at him with a tether, and you're done for.
Well, minor charge out here. They're looking to bully Crit. They got the Ion Shell, and he has got to fly back. Luckily, Jakiro is a bit tanky. He's going to go right into the TP. Can he get a... Nope, not happening. He's only level 1. He only has charge. Shakiro is going to make it back to base. There will be no first blood shed, and their 2-minute rune is about to come out here. Miracle is at the top one ready to go. It's a bounty, which means Hanskin is going to bottle up the DD rune at the bottom.
So, looking at how these lanes are going to work, it does feel like the Spirit Breaker rotation is NiP trying to win as many lanes as possible. Like, with the bottom lane secured already, Gyrocopter and Io doing what they can to zone out Necrophos. They bring Spirit Breaker top to pressure the Jakiro out of lane, and Boots Jara means NoTail's going to be very careful here.
Oh, he is trying to get this little old man. He is going to hide through the trees here. NoTail going to make it away from the rocket barrage. Can they still catch up? Era needs one more second. Second rocket barrage coming on through, and he is down. And Era loses his own life. Crit's going to get part of that XP. First blood, though, is going to go the way of NiP, taking down the Necrophos, so a slight nod for them. Ideally, Era would have been able to make it out with his life, but hey, Crit's going to be there in time to soak up some of that, you know, sweet boosted XP.
Yeah, slightly better trade for NiP, so that's kind of what they were hoping for. And the lane is still pushed up in their favor, so it's not really in a good equilibrium for OG to contest this bottom lane, and very much Elaine and NiP are going to continue to apply a lot of pressure on Necrophos anytime he tries to push up the lane is going to find himself in a lot of trouble. Necro did get credited the kill, important to note, so he did get money to buy boots, and boots very important against the gyrocopter here.
Very important to have those shoes. Looks like he's going to go up to the Tranquils here. I'm very curious how No-Tail wants to take his Necrophos. Do you think there's a particular way he should build up in this game? I mean, is it necessary to go into something like an Ags right away? Or are you building in sustain? Maybe mobility could be a key for him. You know, you have the Wisp on the other side.
I'm trying to think what we've seen out of Necrophos. There's only just standard, like, treads, mech type builds is often coming out. I mean, you mentioned the Tranquils, which it looks like he'll go unless he decides just to get a Bassiering here. But I think the Atos is a nice build we're seeing quite a bit of. The Blink Dagger is always good, just a matter of whether you want to get an item before the Blink Dagger. And a lot of this depends on whether Miracle is going to be buying the mech or not for the team.
Looks like OG want to get this rune bottom. It's an invis. Miracle's going to grab it. That will leave Limp with the bounty at top. He'll return back to his mid lane here, but they're going in on Moon. It looks like he turns back, smacks the cow in the face. He's going to get the kill there, and we'll get to walk away. It's a solo kill for him. What the hell happened? Just popped off the quick combo, and it looks like the Spirit Breaker goes down.
Spirit Breaker went in and kind of aggressive with an Iron Shell, thinking, oh, I'll take this Tiny on, and Tiny just whacked him.
Oh, LSA gonna get caught, but fall off. Ice Path is here. Here comes Handskin. He's gonna be saving Limp, gives him the regen, and he has an invis. So they don't know what the hell's happening right now, but they can't see the Wisp. He turns back, gets the balls out, and they're gonna take down Crit. Nicely done. And there goes the Dragon Slave. They're trying to get some good damage on the fly. Here comes Silk Kid, charging on forward. Is he gonna commit? He is. He's going to get the bump right now on the Miracle. LSA not going to catch, though. Dragon Slave will, but Miracle's going to be A-OK. NiP almost get to follow up with 2 kills, but we'll only grab the one. A rotation in from the Wisp Handskin with that invis. It's going to be a lifesaver.
Yeah, really nice rotation coming out from the IO. It was the invis on the SF, but the IO... the SF went invis, but the IO was just saving lives.
All right?
You should see me yesterday. There was like a jug playing by my Tumba Man. I just called him Jerex the entire team fight.
My brain is like, oh god, I gotta do camera again here. So half of it's on camera, half back in the action. Bottom lane, Air gonna get caught with the Frost, but he'll be able to slip away here. Liquid Fire will do a little bit of harassing damage, but looks like he'll be into Flat Cannon down the wave. And steady as she goes here. Farm surprisingly here on Jonas on his Darkseer. In the CS game right now, and I imagine he's gonna be building straight into that mech. 844 gold already in reserve.
Oh, bottom lane, they've gone in now onto No-Tail's Necrophos with the Gyrocopter, another Rocket Barrage. Looking to bring him down, and they will do so. Charge on the crit.
They try to mitigate that damage as much as possible, but not going to matter.
And this Air Gyrocopter getting involved in 2 kills now on the Necro. This Necro with 14 CS only. Really struggling to find any...
2 kills on a Gyro before he even has call down.
Yep.
Usually that's when we see them get proactive here, but they have changed up the laning setup so that they can be fighters, and they're fighting. Bottom lane, they're going to continue that fight. They go on to crit here with the charge. Handskin tethers on in, going to catch him with a bit of the damage from the balls here. It's at level 2. Dragon Slave, what a sidestep from Crit. He's going to get down the Frost, but it does not matter. He will go down. I admire the juke, though. Wonderful corner catcher.
Style points, you know, you go out in fashion, but... he's going to go out nonetheless, and NiP winning 2 of the lanes, the bottom and the top lane, and mid lane's been pretty even as far as the Lina versus SF matchup goes. SF with a slight farm advantage because of all the stacks, and also the fact that Lich was there. This was a dual lane Lich plus SF versus the Lina, so I think considering the lane that Lina had, this lane has gone perfectly fine.
Okay, we got a smoke here. Team OG looking to roll out with their boy Moon. He's got a respectable combo here. It's going to be a lot of burst. Limp's in trouble. There goes the avalanche. Here goes the toss back. The little lady is going to get annihilated. There is going to be the LSA follow-up, and she is gone for, and I imagine OG are going to love to follow this up with some tier 1 damage.
Moon's really scary right now. Tranquil Soul Ring just roaming around with a level 7 combo, so he's got max toss, 2 points in avalanche. It's not the full combo. It's not level 9 yet, but he can kill most of these squishy heroes on the map. Someone like an Io, Lina, all he needs is a +1 most of the time, and some of them, like a Lina or an Io especially, he can just kill on his own. He's got such great solo kill potential.
It's a running Dagon right here.
Yeah. And the Tranquils give him enough movement speed. He can get around not having a Blink Dagger, especially when it's nighttime, with NiP just not seeing him coming.
NiP know that at least they're safe for the meantime in the bottom. It looked like they were going to be pressuring that tier 1, but the second that a lot of OG go off the radar, it seems like they're going to be changing plans here. Don't want to be overcommitted and caught out. It's like OG will just kind of step back in the meantime, so... felt like they were in a bit of a disarray. They got that big pick off mid lane, but they weren't sure on how to follow up with any sort of objectives, and they're not going to be able to too much. So let's step back for now.
Yeah. And Miracle's still topping the net worth right now. So for OG, yeah, you've not had the best start in the laning stage, but your Tiny's come online and gotten a ton out of the lanes, and it's going to be a big threat to NiP right now. Miracle's free farming away, so I think looking at the big picture, things are going well enough for OG. It's just going to come down to how things develop around this 10 to 20 minute stage of the game. If one team starts winning team fights, then you're looking at towers dropping. You've got a Jakiro on the side of OG. You've got decent push out of the Dire side as well if they want to group up as 5. So very much going to come down to these next couple of big clashes.
Careful, Hanskin. Getting close to trouble here. A DT Miracle with 2 raises, and you're going to be gone in hopes to tether away to that Seal Kid right there. But looks like he'll be fine, and yeah, you could definitely acknowledge that OG are going to be putting a lot into this mid game here. Yeah. I mean, with the buildup that Moon has, you know, there's no foreseeable buildup into late game unless he's able to string together a bunch of kills. So OG better bank on taking a lot of fights here. Era has just been kind of having the time of his life bottom lane. They're suddenly up to the tier 2 now as he continues farming up. He's second in net worth right now, sporting 1k gold in the bank here. We'll see if he builds up defensively, which I would think is the best recommendation going against the burst of this Tiny. You might want to get, what, an early Sage or something? Maybe get some HP. Charge in, though. They're looking to go for Miracle from the high ground vision. They got the call down there. Miracle going to get hit. He gets a little bit of health with the Frost Armor, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Dragon Slave is going to snipe him right there from Limp. Fly's going to run away, watching his friend be put into a pile of ashes.
Yeah, just great positioning there out of NiP. Spirit Breaker even hiding in the trees when the IO scattered the high ground, so they thought it was safe, and well, with that, OG getting put under a lot of pressure here. And as much as OG want to fight in the mid game, it's NiP with Gyrocopter, who are possibly the scarier lineup right now in these fights. They've got Mech on the Darkseer, they've got a level 8 Gyrocopter. Their timing right now is a lot stronger. Until OG, they need bare minimum a Chain Frost on Lich. Doesn't look like they're going to have a mech on anyone, but I probably even want to wait out for the Tiny Blink Dagger, so they're going to come online a bit later here in the mid game.
I feel like that is just a long time to wait. This Necro also needs a long build up here. We haven't really seen Miracle be scary as a Shadow Fiend. He's 0-1-1. I mean, he's going to be farming here, and he will be the mech holder. Yeah, so no serious damage going to be coming out from the side of OG unless it's Moon to dish out that heavy burst combo.
I guess once Moon, he's got to land the combos, the tough part for him, and SF, if he's got to set up from either the Tiny Stuns or the Ice Path of a Jakiro, the raises do a lot of damage at this stage of the game, so...
But I feel like if you swing and miss in these fights, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, if Tiny's combo doesn't like get a insta kill to start off a fight, or as a counter initiation type play, fight's over for OG. That's really it.
Mech popping, they're gonna turn it right around.
I guess there's like a Chain Frost potential, but to get like win you a team fight, but realistically NiP are not going to allow a Chain Frost. They're not going to just group up for a Chain Frost, and there's not enough stuns and lockdown to keep NiP in place for that Chain Frost to really do a huge amount of damage.
They know Miracle is farming this nearby, and they'll see Fly now. Fly's pinging out frantically, and the little Lich has got to get away here. He is running. Oh lord, save me right now. Charge is coming in, Seal Kid's gonna bop him. Is someone gonna rotate in to help the man? No! Kick him back even into a wall. Oh, the hate for the man who just loves wards. He's gonna go down.
See. And right now, OG very much have no vision up on the map right now. They can't see in their own jungle. They have the one ward above the T1 mid tower, but the problem is they can't even get out and farm the mid lane, the bottom lane, their own jungle. That's where NiP have completely occupied themselves, and possibly... And the thing is, the one lane where it feels like maybe it's safe because of the lack of vision in their jungle is you head top. You head top, you take over the Dire jungle, kind of do what NiP are doing to you, but that's where the Gyrocopter is, who right now is freaking scary. You don't want to go near this guy. Era is... looking like probably the highest damage dealer right now in the game.
Plus now you have relocate on Hanskin, so other lanes also have to be a bit hesitant. If they get a little too far out, they are going to pop in from behind with a special surprise.
And that's the power of the Wisp, because normally at this stage of the game, Gyro, you want him in the enemy jungle. You want him being the aggressor that's preventing OG from moving out, farming their jungle, farming the bottom mid lane, but because of the relocate, it allows NiP to play more greedy, more efficiently, and farm all 3 lanes at once, and not have to worry too much about Era not being in a fight in the Radiant jungle.
Man, look at these guys. They're just gathered together here. Looks like they might smoke with Fly. I mean, they have to.
I was about to talk, to expand on that. The response to that for OG should not be trying to take back their jungle, but it should be ganking out the Gyrocopter plus IO. It's hard because you're worried that he's just going to relocate, save the Gyro, but you know these are the 2 heroes which are most alone. NiP are setting up camp in the Radiant jungle, looking for a fight where they can relocate in. So rather than get relocated on and have a 5v5 fight, Go at the two heroes who are alone.
Uh-oh. Era might be in trouble. They drop the ward. They're going to get the vision, and Moon is like, he wants to run in, but doesn't want to toss and fly. And man, look at that. They're just so quick to defend. They do the 4-foot relocate here. And No Tail is like, I'm going to wait for you to come right back. But Limp is in now. Drops down the Yules. LSA combo to follow. Nice sidestep will avoid the Frost Path. But here comes the call down. They annihilate No Tail. And they're not going to get the return. Fly is going to be the follow-up. Crit's going to be the second trouble. Beautiful vacuum from Jonas on the backside. They're going to be bumping back Moon, and they're going to take down 4. A huge fight for NiP. OG desperate to move out with this smoke. They're not able to get a good position, and NiP can recognize what's going on, and they get all hands on deck right away.
Yeah, you got to get the fast kill and get out, because there's a T1 tower right by where that was happening. They have to wait 10 seconds for the relocate to come back. OG just gave NiP all the time in the world. Not only the T1 tower, but the Tier 2, so often the TPs overlapping is like, oh, the second TP takes a lot longer, but half the heroes can TP to the Tier 1, another hero can TP to the Tier 2, so they were ready to back up the IO plus Gyrocopter there, and that cooldown catched 4 heroes or something in the first one, and then 4 heroes as well with the second blast. That was just brutal for OG.
Yeah, No Tail so confident. He just went right into where the relocate spot was going to be, but they did not anticipate NiP calling in the reinforcements so fast. Was Miracle even there? I mean, he might have been there in the back lines, but I did not see Shadow Fiend really doing
too much. I found him, I may have TP'd out because his mech was on cooldown after the fight, so it looks like he'd used his mech at some point.
Got the hell out of there.
And just TP'd out, but yeah, I think just not a fight they had a chance of really taking.
Not enough offense on a team where you want to be bursting down people in the mid game and kind of taking over.
Yeah, they're too reliant on getting Tiny a blink, and as an offlaner, like Tiny's not, and going for Tranquils and Soul Ring, he's going for these small items. He had a good lane, but he's not going to continue to get a big amount of farm unless he really just sits back, jungles it up, and I think OG feeling, oh, we've got to go make a play and go for a smoke on the Gyrocopter, but at the same time, how do you catch him and instantly burst him? It's only with a Tiny blink, Abatos, and then you follow up with a Reaper. And until the Tiny gets a blink, I feel like they can't actually go for that smoke.
And even now, Era has got a BKB, so it doesn't really need worry about that Tiny combo at this point. I mean, Tiny can jump and get a quick kill on support, but then Era, like we saw there, will follow up with a big call down, and there will not be much to stop the crazy little pilot. What do you think, though, the reasoning behind OG committing with this off-lane Tiny, as opposed to going with what you anticipated being just the typical, you know, No Tail will take the Tiny and farm it up a bit, maybe mid-lane? Why did they have to change course? Is this like something they're just trying out in the, you know, drafting phase to see if they can kind of pull the same play that they did against NiP previously? Or is this the option they had once they committed for the early Tiny and saw how things were panning out?
I think it was partially experimental, but also partly the playstyle they've been running with Moon playing a lot of the initiators. I mean, he plays the Nature's Prophet as well, so it's not only the initiators. He does play some of those more farming-oriented offlaners, be it the Prophet or the Doom, but they like this Necrofrost. They run this hero a lot. It's kind of a bread and butter for them, so I think they felt Necro's going to work really nicely. Give us some lockdown to go through a BKB of Gyrocopter, give us some really good single-target burst with the Tiny, but
Miracle could walk into a sentry here. He's so close. Not close enough, though.
Yeah.
NiP just so cautious right now.
Yeah, and for OG, trying to go on the aggressive here with 5 heroes, and if they don't find a kill, they're wasting a lot of time where they could be farming. You look at NiP and there, 3 heroes top, 1 bottom, just getting a bit more out of the map than what we see OG getting.
Oh yeah, and this bottom lane will keep on pushing. Double Ion Shell out. OG will finally have to disperse and continue their farming elsewhere. Looks like Moon, though, will finally get that Blink Dagger. He's going to double stack this camp and then just throw rocks all over this little family here. It's very sad to see, but hey, Daddy needs a Blink Dagger now. And with that, I mean, if OG are not able to get a lot of this Blink Dagger Tiny,
yeah,
it could be a very sticky late game for him.
Absolutely. And it's not like, oh, you've got a Blink Tiny, everything's going to be alright now. We've got to a point where NiP are tanky. You've got Darkseer with a mech up, and I mean, Blink Dagger is not really the problem. It's the fact that he's got 1100 HP with a mech kill. Spirit Breaker's got over 1100 HP.
Limp has a point booster now.
Everyone is tanky. BKB and 1200 HP on Gyro. There's no insta guaranteed kill.
Jonas blink quick. He's out. Okay. Coming around the corner is a big scary Miracle, but he's got a blink for the boogeyman.
It's not like if you get this at like 13, 14 minutes, like this is where I feel that safe lane Tiny was a good option, because you can go for a fast Blink Dagger on the safe lane Tiny and take control of the game. Necrophos doesn't come online and do the same kind of thing here, so not having a fast blink dagger really cost him. Maybe Moon was getting an easy lane. Like I feel like he kind of in some ways was almost the safe lane in the sense that he had the lane where OG could farm, No Tail did not. So going for too many perhaps utility items with the Tranquil Soaring, when he could have just rushed to blink dagger faster.
Yeah.
I think that may be something he might regret.
Yeah, Tranquil, I guess, you know, you're running there fast, but I haven't seen him be really able to chase anyone down. Getting that, you know, let's say even 3 minutes sooner blink dagger could have been a big difference to have it in that fight.
It's hard to say because Soaring is such a good farming item as well as allows you to spam out the lane. So would it even how much faster would have a blink even been? And then you get the blink, then you've got mana problems. So it's very much a trade-off between the two items, but OG just never really hit a good timing where they could fight this game.
Yeah, they went down that path of we were going to be taking fights and anticipate that we will be at least getting some kills. So Moon will have the blink dagger faster, but
they're two item dependent, whereas NiP were just level dependent. So once NiP got their like level 6s, they can initiate with a charge. They've got cooldown. Lina item dependent that you need a Yules, but you can because you've got a few heroes that aren't item dependent, you can fight well in the other game with Lina. On the OG side, every hero is item dependent to take. Like to hit their timings. There's no like, oh, we've got this level 6, let's go for a smoke gank because we got a guaranteed pick off. We got a Beastmaster Roar or something. It's well, you smoke and you're relying on Tiny to hopefully hit an avalanche, which is not exactly a long range initiation.
Beastmaster. Now that would have been something normal in the off lane.
Was it banned out this game? I don't know.
I mean, they made that early commitment for the Tiny, so it's hard to say on the side of OG if they're like, we're gonna put this off lane. So
they run Beastmaster safe lane. They actually did that yesterday for No Tail plays it.
This team would run Beastmaster anywhere.
Yeah, mid, safe lane, off lane, support. They really like the Beastmaster. So I wonder if it may have been banned out in the second stage because of how much OG play the hero. I'm trying to think what the second stage bans were.
Having that vision, being able to spot out whether that opportunity to take a fight was either
I think there was
a futile.
Yeah, I feel like there was a second stage Beastmaster ban if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, as it is for now. I mean, or let's say a clockwork, or a good standard or something like that.
Clockwork's
so you can have the rocket for the vision, and
you hit level 6, you go find kills.
And typically pretty good against Gyrocopter if they wanted to bump up his farm a bit. He could have gotten the blade mail before the BKB and probably done some work. But now it is OG, as I feel, with their backs against the wall in this mid game. This is where they're supposed to be in their prime, but we got a Spirit Breaker who's looking to charge in.
Let's say
pull back.
he waited a long time to cancel that one. Went awfully far north, but wouldn't want to go near the rune. So they're going to go for a big team fight now. They're going not just for the mech, they're going for the pipe on top of it, which is going to negate most of, like, you've got Chain Frost, Razors, Tiny combos. Everything right now is magic damage from OG. They have got next to no physical damage.
They have a Rod though on No Tail, so he's a bit more tanky. He's got the long slow to help anyone who's trying to get away, and they have that bit of chase, but I just don't see this team chasing a whole lot. I see him being forced into a team fight where NiP just have more ammunition here, and that could happen in a moment mid lane. With the benefit of having that Aegis, it's NiP who will certainly have the advantage here, and it's pressure on OG to see if they're going to be able to have a response or not.
The Rod's a good item, but it's not like it's not a game changer. Useful for cutting the Gyrocopter. It can be countered by the Darkseer Surge, though, if a hero gets in a lot of trouble, and it's not like there's any hard to land stun that it may help set up. Tiny's got a Blink Dagger, so he shouldn't have problems hitting a combo. Jakira's almost got a Yule Scepter as well.
There goes Seal Kid, sees Miracle jump in. What a vacuum setup! Oh my! They lead in, Iron Shell, there's gonna be the toss combo. Yoda's big, but a turnaround. They get Miracle. They get the Reaper Sight. They take down 2 from NiP. NiP are like, okay, we went in there, we had a big combo, but we didn't beat them down as hard as we thought. You know, credit to Miracle, able to get the mech off before he was dropped. Helps his team stay alive. And quickly OG just try to push him back.
And running at OG outside of their creep wave meant the Chain Frost was just going to bounce for days. That was just all on heroes. They huddled up around the SF, so the Chain Frost just kept on bouncing. The Ice Path plus Macropire. It's not just NiP with a big combo, it's also OG. And when you turn that Avalanche into like a 3-4 man stun, you're looking pretty good.
Rod on the limp, they get the Ice Path. Moon goes for Era instead. Not going to have enough with that combo. And then they have to pull back here. But OG, you're not going to be able to overextend to the point where NiP can punish him here. And for now, we'll be able to even keep their tier 2 safe. So I'd have to say, credit to OG, they hold pretty good. And like you said, they're able to show NiP that they have their own bit of team fight.
That was against an Aegis as well, so I think that you almost need the Aegis on the front line initiators here. Lena's often going to be sitting back, and I guess you can get jumped yourself, but for now it's NiP the ones being the aggressors, so I guess in theory Lina can be the one trying to run forward, throw off a Yule Scepter, but Lina's very squishy even with the bonus HP coming out from the point booster. Does have an Aghanim Scepter now, though Limp is pretty damn farmed.
Yeah. Okay.
He's actually number 4 in net worth. It's actually not the craziest timing for him. His teammates, Darkseer, is leading the net worth chart.
Yeah, this is...
If they had to pipe that fight, that would have been a lot better for them. That
was a beautiful setup by him as well.
Yeah, they didn't have to pipe that fight, right? I'm trying to think back. I don't think so.
I don't think I saw any pipe happen.
I think it was
there.
A post-team fight pipe pickup.
Well, as it stands, NiP probably not satisfied with how much they were able to get out of this Aegis and that push to the mid lane, but as you already pointed out, itemize very well, continue on forward, and even though Miracle is able to finish off that BKB on his Shadow Fiend, he is still going to be suspect to that Laguna, and he's not going to have a whole lot of a follow-up if he does kind of eat that. Do you think he would be the target for this Lina Laguna? I mean, who do you get in a best-case scenario here to try to take out quickly? I mean, Tiny... I guess before he gets his combo off, but if he already commits it, then I don't think he's going to be too much trouble.
Either Shadow Fiend or Necro's fine.
Yeah.
Necro's, I believe, going for a BKB as well. Whichever, if you can, it's likely they're going to initiate in on one that they can kill off without a Laguna, or if you go on one and it's whoever's kind of in the best position to get it fast. So if you can kill the SF to start the fight, you're likely to win a 5v4. Same applies for the Necrophos. So it's not like there's one hero who's a bigger problem than the other. It's just whichever one is more in a better position to initiate on.
All right, here comes OG now.
Well, as the Aegis expires too, they timed this one well.
They want to find someone out here. Oh goodness, they are going to find Handskin. There is a quick blink in, a toss combo. Handskin's going to get caught with the Ice Path here, Liquid Fire. And then finally, he will get deleted out from the game. No-Tail will commit the Reaper Scythe, and Era will say, I'm sorry friend, but I gotta go. Well, peace out. So a successful smoke movement will allow them to get the pick, and well, they already had this deep ward. I was going to say maybe take this point to get some wards down from Fly. It looks like he's thinking about it here. He's like, I'm going to put one over here. This is going to be a good spot. Okay, maybe up here on the cliff where everyone puts a ward? No? Oh, he's going deep for this one. Where are you going, buddy? Oh, yeah. As a support player, that's good. Nice and deep. Now he's going to go top lane, and they're just going to add some pressure on this tier 2. This is good. You know, got to get the most out of that smoke while you can. I'm sure they would have loved to got Era and the Wisp with it, but they get the one. They'll get some intel top lane. NiP are going to try to pressure on the side so they can't overcommit to this top lane and keep farming up. But NiP's still kind of peaking at a better time here and still commit overall the better team fight.
NiP have gone, not all in, but they've gone very much itemizing for the now. I mean, having a mech as well as a pipe, this is a standard gyro build, but it's a gyro build designed to come online and be at your strongest at 25 minutes in. It used to be that you just go like BKB into your MKB butterflies, satanic, but now we're seeing, I mean, it's always the SMY, but this is because the game is played around the mid game now. It's no longer about the super late game, but if OG can drag this out, their late game's looking a whole lot scarier in general because of Darkseid going for like a mech pipe build as opposed to getting something more late game centric, be it a Shiver's Guard or a Hex. Items he can still go for, but for now it's not really items that he's going to be getting anytime soon.
I'd say one unfortunate thing for NiP, and it might be just because of the way they had to commit this game with the laning setup and everything, so I would have liked to see more stacks and side farm for him. 2 times now Limp will be able to farm up this Ancient Camp, but it's not like I saw Era truck through any sort of huge Ancient stacks to kind of make sure they're playing that much more of an economy game above where OG is. So I mean, you look at the net worth, and yeah, they're up a respectable near 7,500, but I just feel like they could be so much more ahead. That could be scary going against a team like OG. They take one good fight, and this game is back to even.
Yeah, I think it's a good point because normally, like at this stage of the game, a team like who's taken all the outer towers, they've taken Roshan, they've done everything right, they're keeping OG starved out. Normally, you'd expect to see the carry being like 5,000 net worth ahead of the enemy carry. Like Gyro's pretty much the same as the SF right now. I feel like in a typical game with stacks and just the more greedy, efficient play, you'd have a Gyro sitting around 15,000 net worth. I think part of it's that the farm's being split a bit more evenly with Darkseid getting a lot leaner as well, but if the Gyro had like another big tier 4 item coming soon, things would be looking a lot better for NiP. Instead, we're looking at a slightly more even game right now.
And NiP just might be waiting out for the big Roche to pop up before they try to make another commitment here. Do you think they're playing the game appropriately, you know, considering that their lead isn't as dramatic as it should be. Should they just continue to play it this way where they farm and take control more of the map and then wait out for the Roche, get the Aegis, and then commit for a push? That's probably the best way you can play the game. I'd have, right now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just, you risk handing OG over the fight.
They want to play around their smoke timings as well as the Roche timer. They're going to bring out a smoke now on the courier, so very much they can't just expect to 5-man and be able to siege towers with OG having a lot of burst damage. They've got BKB on SF and soon to be on the Necrophos, so OG have at least enough defensive capabilities and a strong team fight that running at them is not going to work. At the same time, NiP do not want to just drag this towards the late game. They're going to now pick up a Dominator and Era, so possibly looking to go a bit greedier, secure some more late game farms, so we'll see what Era can do with this. He is still farming well, but OG have ways to deal with this physical damage of a gyrocopter.
These three knuckleheads over here trying to get a quick pick or something with Limps Laguna.
We've not... Limps had a solid game, but it's not been explosive. Often you'd see Alina this with 10+ kills.
Ooh,
30 minutes
wait around a little bit longer.
Oh,
they are. Hi, everyone. They're going to run to a head-on collision here, and Moon is going to get the first blow with a good stun, follow-up price path. This is choke point fighting, which is an advantage for OG, but they commit the Reaper Scythe, and they're not going to get the kill. Wonderful Glimmer Cape, and now look at this. NiP, beautiful setup from them. Call down, vacuum wall, and they all begin to shatter right here. Oh, man, OG do go down hard. Moon on the low ground, one of the lone survivors here, is going to be pinged out. And he does get a 4-staff to make it away in a quick blink, and it looks like he could be the one to tell the tale of how that fight went so bad for OG. Oh, man.
Well, tale of the docks here. What a terrible place to be grouped up for a vacuum wall, cooldown, everything just coming together perfectly for the NiP team fight. And the Spirit Breaker just stayed alive for so long, tanked so many spells. He got the Glimmer off before the Reaper's Scythe. That Reaper did very little damage to him, and as a result, OG didn't get the pick they needed, and the fight was just played into NiP's hands. It really feels like whoever's going on the aggressive is losing the fight. That's OG running at NiP, and NiP making a big team fight counterplay. Earlier it was NiP running at OG in their base, and then they kill the SF, but they lose 2 in exchange. So both teams have to be very cautious about taking these fights in the ways that they are.
Yeah, NiP are just too tanky for the... Tiny is just like, what has he got as an offlaner at this point? He dishes out the combo, and then he's sitting there like, oh, I guess I'll 4-staff someone if they need help. But after he commits the 1-2 punch, and Spirit Breaker's still alive and kicking, plus the Reaper Sight's not enough, you gotta be a little concerned that you don't have much of a follow-up at this point. He's not really scaling into a third core. Not as of yet. He can hit pretty hard. I'll give him the credit for that, but in these kind of fights, you're not going to find many people to kind of plump on the head unless you're going to find yourself in the middle of a call down vacuum wall.
Yep.
It's just going to be really rough for OG.
And it's not even just about him being the third core. It's like, look at the first 2 cores. You've got an SF who's gone for pure survivability. You've got a Necrophos who's got a BKB Rod of Atos. Neither of these heroes dishes out a huge amount of damage. Necro's main contribution to fights is to secure the kills with a Reaper, and he couldn't even do that. So how much damage is No-Tail realistically doing in a team fight like that? Next to none. Miracle does a lot better because he gets off the BKB Requiem, so he's probably... he's doing what he's supposed to, but even that, his right clicks aren't hitting hard. It was very much the Requiem was there, a couple of raises, a couple of right clicks, but it was just the SF, and then the Tiny combo just gets negated by the pipe, the mech, so I feel like they don't have what it takes to burst through the pipe and the mech right now. They really need Miracle to get a lot more in terms of items.
OG have just clearly invested a lot in their magic burst as well to get him through a lot of these fights, and as you said, once the items come together for NiP, they don't care about it. Ooh, Jonas tries for a Valiant Vacuum to cancel No-Tail's TP, but the old man is already gone here, and NiP are going to be coming up short and trying to get any sort of pick, but they are happy. They got the Aegis now. They got some seriously sweet farm. That team fight really puts them up and ahead. We were questioning how far ahead they actually were in the scope of the game, but with that fight, they are in a nice position, and they're going to use this assertive lead to just continue to farm out a lot more. Era's got a Demon Edge now, probably looking to push for a MKB at this point, so if Miracle was dreaming of a butterfly, he better dream elsewhere. He has just got to look somewhere else for hard-hitting damage. Where do you go at this point if you're trying to be the Miracle follow-back core? Because they're literally leaving him back to keep farming so that they can go out on this little adventure right now.
He may just need to go straight into a Daedalus. I feel that is the biggest shortcoming of the OG lineup right now. Is just the lack of damage. Like, you can go for more stats, more survivability, and a bit of team fight with a Scotty, but ultimately, if he doesn't get some serious right click, I don't see OG turning this game around. So I think Daedalus is really possibly the only way to go.
Here comes NiP. Seal Kid looking at the charge. No tail. Oh, what a nice... Oh, they get crit, though. They relocate behind. That means there's going to be the Yules, and the dragon will be slain. Oh, by a dragon slave. That's cute. Oh, boy. Well, OG continue to be on the run here. They're trying to, I don't know, maybe make some space and find what they can on the side to leave Miracle back to farm up so that he could be the one true damage dealer when the high ground push does come, but...
He's not even close to any kind of items. He's on 1,500 gold, so it's not like he's holding on to like 4K right now. It's like, ooh, what's Miracle going to buy? He may pick up something that can help out in the next fight. It's like, well, this game needs to drag for another 4 or 5 minutes. They've got to delay out this Aegis before we can even consider another Miracle item pickup.
And Era's like, he's not getting the butterfly. I'm just going to turn this thing into a Daedalus. He's got the crit now, and
damn.
Yeah, this flat cannon is going to hurt. Oh, man. OG. Going to be in for a bit of a doozy once that high ground push does come. And I don't foresee NiP having too much trouble breaking into the base. You got the Spirit Breaker to kind of divert attention and just kind of be the gatekeeper in the fight. And if OG are up in arms with the Spirit Breaker, it could allow the rest of them to kind of creep in with a good vacuum wall. Or do you think OG should be able to withstand and play this tower defense kind of a game?
It's a little bit pesky always. You're pushing into Jakiro, Ice Armor on the tower, but I think they can do it with just Era on the high ground with an Aegis, and he'll take a bit of damage, he backs off, he heals up again, you just pop the pipe on the creep wave to make it a bit harder to push out. Wondering if there's any big items that NiP are waiting for. It looks like Darkseer close to a Shiver's Guard, or at least possibly something out of this Mystic Staff. Gyrocopter just waiting on the Daedalus to be delivered, so they've still got 2 minutes left on the Aegis, and having taken all the outer towers, I feel they don't want to just play the farm game right now. They can probably win playing the farm game because they're getting so much more. It's only SF farming. The Necro, the Tiny are not transitioning to really carries at any point of this game. Tiny, just because of the nature of his build, going for a Blink Force and now a BKB, it looks like. Necro, just similar story. It's gone for... It just feels across the board, OG have gone pure survivability, and then who's actually getting kills. You look at even their supports, it's a Lich, a defensive support, a Jakiro who's fairly tanky, doesn't offer a huge amount of firepower or just burst damage in general. He's a bit more versatile because he's got a setup, but where's the damage coming from for OG?
I just can't feel like the way that OG drafted this, and the second the lanes were set up, and you know, NiP could have had the know-how before the game even began. Once the draft completed, and it's like, well, if they're going to be going down this kind of a road, we simply need to itemize this way. They're going to put more into their hefty magic burst and combo that if we just simply get like a Glimmer Cape to deal with the Necro and his crazy ultimate plus all the magic damage, a couple of BKBs here and there, a pipe even, and there's not going to be a whole lot OG could do. And at that point, NiP are just playing good old classic Dota, where they have all their bases covered, big team fight, a good initiator, and an Era to bring in that diesel damage. I don't know if there's going to be a way for OG to stop it. They'd have to make some big high ground defenses here and then itemize in a way that they can pull this game back.
And right now NiP not even going for the killing blow. It's very much like, let's just split around the map. You've got Gyro farming top, Lina farming bottom, the jungle being farmed out as well, and this graph will just keep on dipping further and further into NiP's favor. They've got to find a catch somewhere. If NiP are playing greedy like this while they're ahead, you're falling further behind. The only way to stop it is to go on the offense as OG, which is really difficult to do because you try gank Gyro, he gets relocated out. You try gank the lean at bottom, there's a relocate in from the IO Gyro, and suddenly there's a 5-man NiP squad that you're running into. It's like a no-win situation. The only hero you can maybe kill is like you gank the Gyro, he gets saved by a relocate, then you kill the Wisp. And that's not really a win. You've killed a Wisp. And while that's going on, NiP are farming. So this is just where OG are completely backed it into a corner. There's no
YOLO play
to make. Yeah, I mean, there's just the crazy YOLO plays, which are like the 1% plays that shouldn't work that you maybe have to go for because otherwise you're going to lose this game. At some point, OG just have to look at things and be like, we're losing this game. We're just sitting back and waiting to die. Let's at least go out and try and make something happen.
I hope they'd already deduced that by now, and that they're like, okay, we just need to get this one item together, and then we can go. I mean, Miracle's sitting on a pretty penny now. I know it still kind of pales in comparison a bit to the overall scheme of where NiP are, but maybe they're just like, if we're going to go out on a YOLO play, let's just get that one last item to make it happen here, because otherwise you're right, we're being starved out in the most of the map here.
I think it's okay to wait for that one, like that item or two, be it like a crit or an Ag Scepter on the Necrophos, but it can't just be played out in your own base for the next 15-20 minutes. NiP are looking at this game like, we don't even have to rax them with an Aegis. We're getting way more than they are.
Our fight is just going to get that much easier the longer we have to farm up most of the map.
You get a Gyro with a Satanic and a Butterfly. You get Lina with a Refresher or a Hex. There's so many more items they can get on the side of NiP. OG as well, like they can get items. In theory, they've got tons of item slots, but they've got no farm to fill them up with.
Maybe there's like, if we get no-tail that Ags, then maybe if we somehow burst down one, we could take them out of the game for a long time, and there's no way they can buy back, and we'll have the advantage in numbers.
And that's the one item which
that's
I think
a home run hit.
The one item which can change things a little bit. It's still very much like, oh, you take a hero out for 2 minutes, they can't buy back. OG cannot push and win the game off of that. It'll just buy them some more time until they can do it again. So they'll have to get like 5, 6, 7, 8 Reaper kills with the Ag Scepter before they have a chance to to be on even footings, but yeah, that's at least like a game plan for them, which is something which right now they're not really...
I mean, there's no game plans. I mean, the other game plan, I think, if they didn't have to go against this Wisp, would be like they could have Moon easily even split push and just take down waves with his combo and then just hide out on the side. But with the threat of the relocate there, you can't really even add split pressure out on the map. You're just still confined and herded like sheep here.
Yeah. And not only are NiP farming the entire map, they're still stacking their Ancients.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
They're farming out the OG Ancients even. Like I saw Gyro farming them earlier, so they're getting absolutely everything. And there's not been a kill for NiP in some time, and they've increased their like net worth lead by like 5,000 in the last 6 or 7 minutes without a single kill.
It's turned a nice little ski slope here, going down and down and down. Eventually they will reach the floor. And OG, we'll have to see if it's going to be a Hail Mary kind of a high ground defense play against NiP when they're going to be at their absolute peak, or if it's going to be them trying to pull out some sort of smoke YOLO play here to take a fight and stall things out. I mean, maybe if they could time it around the Aegis, where if they get that one big YOLO play and then follow up with the Aegis, they could stall this game even longer in hopes, but...
I guess they could go for like the next Roche contest. They're still very much in a tough spot because they don't know, they can't really easily scout out when Roche respawns. They haven't got a Rocket Flare or an Ice Blast or a Hawk or something on their side. Without scouting tools, it's very difficult to just say, okay, Roche, let's just hope Roche respawns now and go for like a big YOLO smoke. And if they ever do go missing from the high ground of their base, they're not pushing out a lane, it's going to be very obvious to NiP. At any point if OG 5-man smoke towards Roche, NiP will know within 5 seconds, I feel.
Now we have Arrow with a Satanic here, so once they have the Aegis, it's like having an extra life on top of it. And for OG, I don't know if they're going to have the burst potential to take them down the first time, let alone have them come back with all that life.
We talked about like SF, like, oh, he's not even close to another item, but now he's actually there. He's got 5k gold, can look to pick up something. Necro gets the Ag, so...
We're still thinking Daedalus maybe might be his best bet. Maybe he does go for the Butterfly now that he doesn't have an MKB?
Possibly. Actually, Butterfly is still viable, but Butterfly Satanic versus... I feel like the Daedalus Satanic may be a little bit scarier. He's sending Korea out. Okay, you get the Butterfly. So we'll be Butterfly here.
Alright, why not? Hoping that you get as much evasion as possible here.
He just needs some big item, and then I don't think there's any point. Saving buybacks again, that's the game-losing strategy where you're just sitting back, accepting your fate, like, oh, I'm going to use buyback and then we'll protect our racks. Well, how are you ever going to win the game if you don't move out of your own base, pick up some new items, which you're not going to do by using your buybacks to defend?
It's gotten to that point where NiP are just becoming so far ahead that not even just one huge high ground defense is going to be enough. OG, you're going to have to take 2 or 3 fights to be able to even move out. Bottom still even holds a tier 1 tower that's almost full life, or is full life.
If this was 6.83 was it, with the huge rubber band, or 6.82? Then you'd be like, yeah, okay, OG, all it's going to take is one high ground defense, they win the fight,
they would have
suddenly it's a 10k gold lead. Bam, we're in business. But this is not the case. This draft, not the case with this patch as well.
No. They were hoping to be ahead at this point in the mid game. They were hoping to probably have the game over by now and them have the win, but that is not the case here, and they are into plan B, maybe even plan C at this point if you're OG.
Yeah. And they're buying out everything. Tiny uses his money for a BKB. They've got no buybacks on any of their core heroes.
Just go out with a bang.
This is the right plan. It's not even entirely a plan. It's very much like a let's just hope for the best and go all in.
But if they do it, they will have to do it probably again and again, but
and
it will create for one hell of a fire show.
And how do you even kill some of these core heroes? Like, you got Gyro with a Satanic BKB. Hanskin is just going to be sitting behind whoever's getting initiated on to relocate them out if needed. There's a Glimmer Cape on, I think, 2 different heroes with Glimmer Cape to protect against the Necro ultimate. There's a Darkseid with a Pipe to block some of that damage, as well as just give him some extra magic resistance.
Okay.
Getting a Reaper kill is not easy.
No. And then who do you get rid of?
Whoever's low. There's not going to be many. This is a fight where there's only going to be 1 or 2 NiP heroes who actually get low. Like, there's not going to be. It's not like there's going to be 5 low HP heroes from a big team fight and you're like, ooh, which one do I want? It's going to be like very obvious, like, well, that's the only Reaper kill I can get. Let's take it and then back off and wait for my Reaper to cool down and then we'll take another fight. OG are not going to team wipe NiP. Their draft, I mean, I'll eat a shoe if they do, but I don't.
I've seen crazier comebacks.
They can slowly come back. They haven't lost this game, but their comeback will be like 1 kill by 1 kill. A team fight for OG looks like they get 1, at most 2 kills, I want to say, and then they back off and hopefully don't lose anyone because they've got lots of heals, like tanky heroes. Like, their lineup's good at staying alive. They're just bad at getting kills. So if they can just get 1 or 2 kills, back off, wait for their ultis to come back up, wait for their BKBs, then they do that again. It's going to just be like inch by inch. They've got to just crawl their way back into this game. It's not going to be just one sudden explosion, one big team fight that's going to get them back in.
It's going to be a process. I mean, if you're a fan of sports ball, it's 4th quarter here. You're down 20 points and there's 2 minutes to go. And there's just no way that you have that much time to make those kind of plays unless the other team kind of hands it over. Bad foul, throws the ball to you, and you catch it. Like, it would take one of those kind of plays here for OG to be able to pull it back. But never say never here. NiP are getting close to the point where they're going to sound out the battle call, and they're going to make their committed go.
I've seen crazy comebacks, and this would be up there, one of the bigger ones, but not impossible. Era's already answering the Butterfly VSF, has put together a couple of Javelins. We'll be having a MKB to replace the Aegis later on.
So safe. Just like, we want to make sure we have all bases covered. He has a Butterfly? We're waiting until I get this MKB, or not. Moon commits in, gets a bit of a combo on Era, but he's got the Glimmer Cape, and he's got Handskin, so quick to pull out the defensive triggers here from NiP.
Very much just like doing what damage you can without. Then OG are not going to look to overcommit unless it's a guaranteed kill on a non-Aegis hero. If they can get someone like the Lina, the Io's honestly got to be the main target for them because Io's going to save whoever they go on. So if they can get a quick like burst kill on the Io, I don't even think they want to Reaper him. I would think they want to probably save the Reaper if possible, but. And there's you can theorycraft. I'm not trying to theorycraft like them winning a fight, but it's very difficult to do.
Somehow Moon utilizes everyone else's Force Staff to toss them into the fountain or something like crazy far-fetched stuff. But again, OG looking to hold here on the high ground. Era moving in. He's got Aegis. He's got Satanic. He's going to get tossed up. He's going to get hit with a raise. Is he committing to Satanic? He will. Call down. Vacuum back wall. Fly goes down. Crit. Almost going to be going down. Barely kept alive here. There he will get dropped. That's going to force out his buyback here. And NiP put their focus now onto the tier 3. Hopefully looking to shut it down here. Missing quite a bit from the low ground. Limp's going to be helping out with the firepower here. Now they move on in. Ice Path is going to catch. And that tier 3 will be going down. Now Era going to get the Glimmer Cape here. Looking to move in. Still has the Aegis here. Yule's going to be up. And Moon moves in with a combo. Not going to be enough. Forced through the wall. Miracle up in arms with it. Oh, he gets hit with the Laguna. Is going to be able to pop off the mech. Looking to step back here. Pulls out the Requiem. Era eating quite a bit of damage, but Handskin is going to be there. Tethered up and keeping him fueled, fine, and ready. No Tail going to be going down. Has to commit out the buyback at this point. Crit goes back in. Moon, another combo. Tosses Era back. Again, not going to be enough. Vacuum thrown into the wall. He gets checked hard, and he goes down. This is the comeback from No Tail here. Eats a call down. He wants to get Era with the scythe. It's not happening. They turn back onto him. No Tail could be going down. A dieback if he does. He's creeping back. He lives. He makes it back to base, but the racks will go down here. NiP happy with their winning. Should be able to turn away, and they will. They lose nobody here. They even keep the Aegis.
They can't get a kill. Like, that's... I mean, every time Tiny blinks in for an Abatos, he's not even really looking for a kill. He's looking to delay them and just try chip away at them. Because unless someone's already down to half HP, they're not able to kill anyone off. And every time he does that, NiP just heal back up. They pop the mech. They pop the urn charges. Handskin tethers and heals them up. Like, they came kind of close to getting 1 or 2 kills in that fight. The Reaper was an Aegis anyway, so that was very much just like...
Yeah.
It was very much like a tilt Reaper at that point. He wasn't getting the kill. It was an Aegis anyways that's going to expire in a... It was just about to expire anyways. So, at this point, OGA just getting nothing done.
I would say that after seeing something like that, you know, they might have just called the GG at that point, but it is, you got to remember, a lower bracket semifinal here. It's a very important match, and NiP, one of those teams that I feel like when we see those crazy comebacks, it's usually them on the bad side.
Yeah.
So maybe OG are just hoping that they go into that zone a bit and that they will find the breadcrumbs to come back into a game.
Let's say, do we see something crazy like a SF Rapier? But it looks like he's going to go Daedalus instead. I think Daedalus is actually similar DPS to a Rapier, just because he already has huge damage already and the butterfly with the attack speed.
The YOLO play here.
Okay. There's no Roche for some time, so they're very much just doing this looking for a fight. And when no one's defending bottom, it should be as obvious as can be for NiP.
Okay.
Like, they've got to look at bottom lane and be like, why is no one bottom? This is completely fishy. Problem is Spirit Breaker.
Spirit Breaker. They leap right over him. He goes into Glimmer Cape. They're going to catch him with the stun, but they don't have the vision. He will pop BKB. He charges right into Miracle, and he's just going to go 1 for 5. But here comes Jonas with the vacuum wall. It connects right towards 3. Miracle trying to get up the Requiem will be going down. He's going to get dropped. No tail to follow, and that is the game. The YOLO play is going to end up into a disaster, and NiP will take game number 1.
That was their first kill in like 25 minutes, so that really kind of tells the whole picture there. It's not that OG aren't even like fighting or looking for fights. They use multiple smokes. They tried to engage. They tried to defend their racks, but 1 kill in 25 minutes, and that came from a 5-man smoke gank onto a support of all things. So
yeah. We got to go back to the beginning here.
Yeah.
You know, you open up, you see NiP commits with the first pick Wisp, and your immediate response is to go back to what you did the last time you faced against NiP, if I'm not mistaken, and that's, we'll take